Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, the London City Council discusses charges it's made against Mayor Randall Weddle. And the Trump administration says it is doing more with less in the Department of Veterans Affairs.
And welcome to the weekend. Will you need the raincoat, the sunglasses, or a little bit of both? Details coming up.
Dedicated to Southern and Eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Should London's mayor be removed from office? The London City Council took another step toward answering that question during a special called City Council meeting today. WYMT's Neely Green was there.
A special meeting was called on Friday by London City Council to discuss the charges against Mayor Randall Weddle. The meeting did not last but a few minutes. It consisted of council members sharing a resolution of the amended charges the council could use to impeach the sitting mayor.
What was the resolution? I read it
You're
once.
voting on something we don't know what it is, so we need to.
I read it.
You just said resolutions to KRS. You didn't know.
No, I said a resolution issuing amended charges of misconduct and setting a public hearing pursuant to KRS 83A.040.
When citizens asked for the resolution to be read aloud, council member Anthony Ortega said the document can be found online.
We could just post it online.
No, we need to read it.
I'm ready to read it. All right. I mean, technically by KRS, you don't need to read a resolution.
When the meeting was adjourned, citizens in attendance booed the council. Katie Johnson attended the meeting on behalf of her family and says it's important to hold those in power accountable.
The majority of the people in there were either there to A, support the mayor, or B, attempt to hold the council accountable. And that's one thing I want to make clear. The city and the county can hold the council accountable without being on the mayor's side. You don't have to agree with the mayor. You don't have to vote for the mayor. You don't even have to like the mayor to want to hold your council accountable.
Many people brought signs as they were allowed in this meeting, and a lot of them had a message to share. One message in particular centered around Doug Harless, who was shot and killed by a London police officer on December 23rd. Weddle faced significant criticism after the shooting. William Eversole says these city meetings take light away from a bigger issue.
That is a deflection of the actual real reason I'm standing here, in my opinion. I'm doing it not only for him, but for everybody, you know. We all need justice for something. And I think that seeing somebody get justice for a wrongful doing would kind of help us all.
Many folks tell me London had issues before Weddle became mayor, and very well may have issues after he is mayor. In London, Neely Green, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, a public hearing will be held September 5th at 9 a.m. That is when the community is expected to learn the fate of the mayor's position. Well, the weekend is finally here, and it's going to be a hot one. First Alert meteorologist Eric Dean has our first look at the forecast. Eric.
Oh, yes, it is. We're talking temperatures in the mid-90s, heat indices, upper 90s, even low triple digits. Right now in Lawrence County near Louisa, we're sitting at 86 degrees. 88 is the temperature in Johnson County near the Paintsville area. Now, other temperatures throughout eastern Kentucky are as follows. We're in the 80s, even mid-90s. Look at Monticello, 95 degrees, 86 in Somerset, 88 in Hazard, 87 in Jackson. You factor in that feels like temperature. Look at Monticello, 109 is the feels like temperature, 90 in Somerset, 91 in Hazard, 88 in Jackson, 97 in Prestonsburg. Here's a look at live pinpoint Doppler radar showing a few little renegade showers, but that's it in terms of anything. Cannot rule out a stray shower or two in the evening and overnight hours, but all in all, everybody's going to stay mainly quiet. If you have plans over the next several hours, again, all is quiet. We'll see temperatures going back into the 60s and 70s, but there is some good news somewhere on the 7-day, and it's in the form of much cooler temperatures. Details on that coming up in the First Alert forecast in a few minutes. Steve.
Eric, thank you. Next month marks 1 year since a former sheriff was arrested for the shooting death of a district judge in Letcher County, and he appeared in court today for a status hearing. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has the latest from Whitesburg.
I'm here at the Letcher County Courthouse, the same courthouse where former Sheriff Mickey Steins was caught on camera shooting and killing District Judge Kevin Mullins. Now Steins was back in the courthouse today for a status hearing in that murder case. During the hearing, attorneys for Steins requested a bond be set for the former sheriff, proposing a $50,000 cash or property bond with release conditions, saying he is the lowest possible risk level based on pre-trial risk assessments. The Commonwealth responded, saying people who are charged with capital offenses are not entitled to bail, and the seriousness of the crime, which was caught on camera, has to be considered. However, Steins' attorney says he is, quote, a respected community member and a respected member of law enforcement.
He certainly misses his family. I'm sure they miss him. But again, Eastern Kentuckians, we're pretty resilient. So he's going to, they're going to be okay. And certainly they're strong. His wife and daughter are very strong women, and they stand very firmly behind him, as do we.
The judge did not rule on the bond motion or the motion to dismiss the indictment today. Instead, gave both sides 2 weeks to respond to motions, which includes a motion to unseal Steins' psychiatric evaluation before they come back to the table to set another court date. In Letcher County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
After court, Steins returned to the Leslie County Detention Center. We'll share more about that motion to unseal his psychiatric evaluation coming up at 6. Attorney General Russell Coleman is calling on Instagram to strengthen location privacy protections. You might remember earlier this week we told you about the platform's new location sharing feature, which allows users' precise locations to be displayed on a map. In a letter to the head of Instagram, a bipartisan coalition of 37 attorneys general outlined public safety and data privacy concerns. They are urging Instagram to make immediate changes. A heads up, if you're driving south through Campbell County, Tennessee this weekend, starting Sunday evening at 7, I-75 South will be reduced to 1 lane past exit 134. Also, I-75 North will have 1 lane closed at mile marker 133 starting Monday at 7 p.m. Crews will be doing bridge work. Construction is expected to be done by next Saturday. The Trump administration says it is doing more with less in the Department of Veterans Affairs following an audit showing severe staffing shortages. The audit comes from the Independent Inspector General's office and notes that every single one of the VA's 139 medical center campuses reported staff shortages. VA Secretary Doug Collins says despite less staff, wait times for VA benefits are down 37% since President Trump took office. The administration is also reporting the most claims ever processed in a single year. Collins says the administration is prioritizing hiring more doctors and nurses, but remains committed to cutting government spending.
I think we're going to take doctors maybe and nurses who are in administrative roles and putting them back in our clinics and in our hospitals. Instead of wasting their, quote, medical talents in paperwork, we're going to let them go back to taking care of patients and veterans. So I think there's a lot of ways to do this.
Collins says the VA is becoming more efficient by reducing layers of administrative roles. President Trump is in Alaska for a high-stakes meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. After boarding Air Force One, the president warned of, quote, very severe consequences if today's summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin does not go well. For Ukraine and other Western allies, the best-case scenario would be for Putin to agree to a ceasefire today, which would pave the way for more detailed talks about ending the war. The two leaders are also expected to discuss possible economic opportunities, but President Trump said the U.S. will not do business with Russia until the war is settled. And at last check, the two leaders were still meeting. Now, no group is more anxious about this meeting than Ukrainians. Our Washington, D.C. bureau talked to a man from Ukraine earlier this year that had already lost his childhood home. He had hopes of peace, but remained cautious.
I hope the current administration achieves a fair, long-standing peace for Ukraine. No matter what we see on TV, no matter what we hear in every media outlet, I hope for a fair peace. Against all hopes, I hope that Russia changes, but if history is any indication, it's like winning the lottery.
Even if a peace deal is achieved, a massive effort will be required to rebuild the country. Mourning the thousands of lives lost will go on for years. The State Fair continues in Louisville until August 24th. Activities today include the Junior Dairy Cattle Costume Contest. Cows and their handlers will dress up to try and impress a panel of judges. It started at 5 at Broadbent Arena. The fair expects 600,000 people will come check out the rides and exhibits this year. You can get tickets to the fair for just $12 online. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, it's supposed to fill and blur your wrinkles. We'll put the skincare product to the test next.
And in the world of weather, the weekend is here and cooler temperatures are somewhere in the forecast. Details coming up.